like I really don't belong. I can't explain it. When I close my eyes, I see a strange reality. Am I dreaming? Or on the edge of remembering? You wake up feeling like you really don't belong. You can't explain it, but when you close your eyes you see familiarity. Are you dreaming? Or on the edge of remembering? Who will you be tomorrow? And where are you today?
Hello, darlings. We're back. Okay, I always have to do those hand warm-ups before felting. So I've got some very, very warm water here, which is going to shock this if I just use the straight warm water. So I'm going to go grab, how much is here? I think I can use this. Oh, yes, we can. It's mostly water, and it is, in this case, a cool room temperature water. And that's what I need to add to that soapy water. This has just a little bit of soap, mostly the fragrance from the soap that was in there. I like it so much, I just want them to be able to smell it. All right. Let's see how hot this is now. Meantime, I can take a little sip of my tea. Okay. Feels like it's cooled down enough where it's safe. Okay. This is actually a perfect temperature. I'm attempting to make kind of a loop, a built-in loop for the wrap for my very little friend. She's the size of a child. So I'd like her to have something just to put around her shoulders. I already know she loves these colors. She saw the scarf hanging behind me. That's our 7-foot, 7-inch scarf. Cobwebs. So you see those holes? Actually, it's not a hole, that's the panels. 2 panels hanging. This is longer than my table, so I have to do it like I did the 7-foot scarf in sections. Luckily, this was going to hold together better. I'm just using the straight batting, a layer right off the big pile, and I'm felting it as it is. It's still cobwebby. I do want to bring some of this more together. So tricky. Very important to get the air out. When you press it down for the first time, do not rub. Just move your hands around gently. Once everything is settled down, just very, very, very gently agitate. You're trying to encourage the fibers to interlock. If you squash down like you're ironing something with your hand, yes, that's good for getting the air out. Unfortunately, it also prevents the free movement of the fibers. I'm getting water on my wrap. Yes. You'd be good for something. Okay. Now I discovered that this dark purple bleeds a little bit. It was when I went to rinse the big scarf hanging behind me, we got some purple in the water, or maybe black and purple. It's hard to tell once you get certain kinds of shades. Created air bubbles just now. Gently press those out. At this point, this is kind of like clay. It's so soft and movable. So you want to think of that before you just go crazy moving things. It's at this point a little bit more flexible than you want because I have too much water. I'm lifting this because I don't want it to start felting into this fabric. So I was already trying to felt. Get down there. Do not felt together. I'm going to make you like tassels. These will shrink a bit. Just twisting them out. I twisted them before, but I kind of agitated them to see the flatness again. I'm gonna soak up a little bit of this excess water. It'll felt better in the long run. Don't want to take off too much. It's not felted yet. We can touch it now. Now to strengthen this glue, I did twist it up, but also needle felted it, the end of it, to try to make sure that when I felted it didn't move too much. Off here. Since this is bubble side up and this is merino wool, it doesn't take energy like, any force, because the bubbles act kind of like extra fingers that are helping massage things into place. Unless you push hard and then you prevent that, they just start going into the channels, and that's not what you want. Now, if I wanted straight edges, I would be massaging like this, like I do with a purse when I need those nice crisp edges, as crisp as you get with felt. But I'm going for a very organic, open cobweb feel. So we just wanted to go flat from all of this unfelted wool. Hold the pattern and colors in place. Now, I believe giving credit where credit is due. I brought the 7-foot, 7-inch scarf downstairs to the creative circle this morning to show them what all those hours resulted in, because they got to see some of the process. So I had no place up here, I had to do it downstairs. So, of course, they were carrying around the beautiful colors and how they blend and all that. So I can't take credit for that. That's the one thing I had no control over other than choosing which length of yarn I was going to use. Somebody else figured out how to dye it so that when you open it up, you get all these different colors. And I can't take credit for that. The wool people in New Zealand produced this, and I would have to say it's worth every penny, especially the more you learn about what goes into making a skein of yarn or a batting of wool. It's like, yeah, you deserve it. You deserve praise and money. I'm sure you prefer the money right now because you already know you're good. Now, I am really glad to hear more teenagers are getting into the self-sufficient arts, because we are so in danger. Just in the time I've been on this planet, I've been watching trades disappear all over the world. A lot of people don't even know what a gilder is unless they grew up with display cases and glass that had glitters and gold. Well, there's lots of reasons to gild, but it's expensive to use real gold, so people stopped doing it. Even though some people still want that, the ability to do a good job of it, seems to be lacking. Once applied, it should not, like flake. But it is a craftsman thing, and it usually is taught person to person. But that's just one example. There's a lot of things, tile making. That was something I wanted to be involved with. Then I got divorced and that changed my trajectory. But I'm so glad for where I'm at right now because I like this way better. But that's as an example. We have a lot of skills that are just being abandoned because we've gotten addicted to the easy way, the fast way. I don't have to learn how to do it myself because I can go to home building and pick out what I want or order it to be imported from someone else who does it thousands of miles away. And I do like that people are keeping up some stuff so you can order it. But it's when people don't know what goes into something, they lose their appreciation for all of the wonderful things humans can do. And then if they find themselves without, they don't know what the hell to do. It's good to know how to do things. But I'm really digging doing this with the understanding that I'm making things to wear. That is the bigger, well, I can't say what's big. I love creating, period, and anybody who knows me knows that. Because I've been an artist since I was 11, and actually younger if you count the piano. But it's always been about creating, and always will be. It excites me to create. But the mediums and the products, like all these years I've created decorative things, cute things. Not a whole lot, aside from canning and drying foods and making candies and herbal medicines, salves, things like that. It's all been just decoration. All my walls are filled with my paintings. And it's nice to have my stuff on display after all these years. But on the other hand, that's all they can do is hang on the wall. I do appreciate art, of course. I love galleries and museums. But for myself, when I think of all of the time that went into making all of these things, and I enjoyed every minute, no regrets. But if I had known about this particular craft, by now I would also have some wearable art. That's where I'm going. Wearable art. So I'm glad teenagers are starting to pick up crocheting and knitting and sewing, and they're designing stuff. And it looks so much cooler in the world when you're able to do something for yourself and walk in and say, I made this. It's a pride, accomplishment. Not like to show off, but yeah, something you can look at and go, I did that. There's a different level of satisfaction. It's better than going to Target and saying, oh yeah, there we go. I bought that at Target. I bought this here, and they only sold 20,000 of those this year, so I'm 1 in 20,000. Now that kind of thing would never do for me, because we're all one of a kind. I think how much more fun and beautiful the world would be if people just allowed themselves to check in with themselves and decide what my style is going to be, because it's what I want, what I feel. Not what a showroom or other people or society at large says. Of course, we old ladies have no problem being exactly who we want to be, because by the time we get to this age, we're pretty much a fuck it generation. I will dye my hair colors. I will wear outrageous glasses or clothes, and I don't care what you think, right? I mean, that is the beauty about getting old. So I think we need to be encouraging that people do that while they're younger. To be who you are, to connect with who you are, your own style, your own talents. And don't wait for other people to tell you what they should be or could be. Just try something. Don't be afraid to suck at first, because everybody does. You know, if you have something wonderful come out of your first attempt at anything, you're lucky. Keep doing it, and then that becomes a skill and an art. And that's cool. Okay, so this is quite wet. We're going to just kind of roll this up for the moment to protect it and get it out of my way so we can move on to the next area here. Okay, I don't have a piece of plastic quite large enough. Unfortunately, the most available stuff is only a foot wide and perforated once every foot for packing. And if you want something that's not going to leak, you have to special order it. It turns out that I'd have to order such a big roll of this. It's better to just go to Living Felt and order by the foot. Then you're guaranteed. And they have safe plastic. Okay, let's get that settled down here. We are going to have some water leakage. Oh well, that's what the towel is for. Try to use the less over there. Go with the phone. And we just can't make it quite to the end. Well, we'll do the best we can anyway. We will get to you. Just relax. And again, lots of water. We're going to soak some of this up as soon as I get everything flattened out. Air out. Okay. Prevent this getting in my lap. We had way too much water. Oh goodness. Okay. Yeah. I think I'm gonna put this in the bathroom. Okay. There's still quite wet over there. Don't go that way. Good. Not ready to wash the floors today. Let's get some of this close to here done. Indeed it is. I made the mistake of looking at some local headlines. Well, not too local, but it wasn't so much headlines. I got a letter from my representative telling me of something dastardly that the feds did right here in my state. So I was not happy this morning. The evil. Evil. Freaking evil. So am I to assume that kitty cat is asleep right now? You're getting a reprieve? Yep, you're on the line. That's so cute. Nice and warm. Don't let him figure out how to charge it, because he won't really know, but he might bite right through a cord. Yeah, smart cats are like having a 7-year-old on the loose in the house. Luckily, they do get older. But also smarter. When I rescued, well, actually, I rescued the mother of Manushka, and most of his siblings died. So he was very borderline, so I didn't give him away. I kept him. And I thought he was going to be a really stupid cat, but he turned out to be one of my best. After we moved to the country, he started eating wild food. He did not thrive in the city, but in the country, became a new cat. I mean, you wouldn't even recognize him other than his coloring. He gained weight. He looked really healthy. Oh, that's not good. He'll be out like a shot if he can. Chasing the real life birds. When it's wet, you can really feel the differences in the fibers. Oh, I'm sure. When a captive animal wants to get out and see the world. But they, even though they want that, they don't really want, they don't want to do it without knowing they've got a safe backup. So they don't really want to leave. They just want to explore. You already know yours is an explorer. He has you patrolling the halls every morning at 3 a.m. The ends of these scarves make me think of mermaid tails. Get back there. No wrinkles. No, 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 no. You're not behaving. Let's try that again. I think I'll get a smaller one. This is nails. All this stuff has to go into the bathtub to get washed. Let them hang dry. There we go. That's better. I'm gonna have to buy more of this soap. The lemon. I love the smell of it. It's just so refreshing. Ugh. Make my nose itch then. Kitchen lemon cleansing gel hand soap. It's gentle because it's for the hands, and we always want gentle soap. Never a degreaser with wet felt in it. Now, the challenge is going to be with rolling it like I had with the 7-foot, the 1,000,000-foot long scarf hanging behind me. It's hard to roll something that big. I just saw a piece of blue silk here that doesn't belong. Where's it? The sari silk is so fine. Sometimes a little bit floats off. Well, run into the garbage, into the, we're bringing the bathroom and wash pile. There it is. You don't belong here. Where did this come from? It's way over here. It's underneath the rolling pin. And the end of it managed to get here. Yeah, they did a gorgeous dye job, didn't they? I can't say I'm very fond of the form though. The braid, it makes everything so condensed. It's really difficult to pull apart. Um, Even when you're feeding off one end, it's a tricky one. I can't imagine spinning it, but people do. So I'm not a spinner. What do I know, right? I do understand it's very slippery because it's super fine merino. It's less than 19 microns. And 19 is what I use most of. But when you need substance, you need chunk. And that purple with the green that I just bought, it's definitely more on the chunky side. So we're going to make a vessel with it to see how chunky it'll get. If it'll be significantly chunky, that could be a really good thing because it's purple. And I don't want everything, I've only got white, really chunky yarn, wool rather, and I don't want everything being white on the inside. I do like some color. Especially because if you're standing over a lantern, you're going to see the inside for sure. And the light, you know. Okay, we are doing very well with this. It's time to roll. But I would like actually to get this all on the other side, not the 1,000-finger side, because it is such a fine merino. I don't want the bubbles tearing it apart. If you get rough with it right here, it'll start to shred. And so we don't need that. Now, technically, this too is a cobweb scarf. The difference being that instead of thinning it out, I let it remain double. Now, I just got tempted. I just realized, let's have some of this hot tea. And then I thought, oh, I have those waffles. And then I thought, sensibly, I haven't eaten yet any real food after breakfast, so I'm not going to indulge. And Doc sent me a photo. Aw, he's such a beautiful boy. Such a beautiful boy. Wearing his fancy tuxedo. All he needs is a little bow tie. You're so lucky. Yep, you've got James Bond there. Okay, maybe Johnny English. I love Johnny English. Rowan Atkinson. Freaking hilarious man. A little more. The good thing about these cobwebs, they felt quickly. And what is the purpose of the bites? What is he trying to tell you? Play with me, give me a treat, let me out. You need more affection time. Smart kids need. That's why parents look forward to sending them to schools. All day supervision while they're answering questions. Since kids are incessant question askers unless somebody shuts that down. Give them something to figure out. lot of water and soap right now, holding this up. Get down. And more washing for me to do. I'm gonna have a very busy afternoon. Okay. Let's get rid of a little bit of this moisture here. Need that. I can feel the bubbles in it. All right, let's straighten this out. Well, one of the main characters on my planet is getting ready to step into the water. The challenge when writing science fiction fantasy is the language. It can't be like they all talk English, although on Gazebo they do. Well, they have a lot of English mixed in because a lot of them came from Earth and they spoke English when they were basically either kidnapped or romanced by wizards to end up on Gazebo. So English is possible on Gazebo, where the majority of the story takes place this time. But they still have different names. Just because they speak their own form of English does not mean they have the same words for different things. Like my magic carpet weavers, for example. They don't have the word carpet. They have different names for certain things. And one of the little sea creatures that my #1 character right now is going to be gathering, I can't use an English name for it or it will not seem like it is a fantasy. So they're doing whatever they do, because just like we do whatever we do, because we all come from the same extension of consciousness. Or say we're all extensions of consciousness. The question is, what do you want to do while you're still here on this timeline, in this body? That's the most important thing to ask. There, I got pulled off track today, and now it's going to take me a little longer than usual to get my vibe back where I want it, although this is helping. Now, Doc, our loudest Karen here, who I'm sure would never want to be accused of being the racist that she is she's into cameras, as you know, they all are, right? She told me that there is a camera that uses an SD card to record, so it doesn't go into the cloud. But the service of being able to see it on your phone is $4 a month for each camera. So she pays $8 a month because she has 2 cameras going on inside her apartment. But she said they can be attached to our doors to look through our peepholes and record that. So I thought, well, that's interesting, because we're not allowed to affix anything to our doors because they're fire doors. And you can't have anything in the hallway to monitor the halls. But we're kind of left defenseless. We don't have security on the property like you have now. And we have a couple of idiots who are just not listening when we say, don't let strangers into the building. Somebody comes up, they go ahead and open the damn door. It's like, what did you do that for? Some people, you know, they're just not going to get through to, because, you know, that's just the way it is with humans. You know, you get a variety of them. But it's the same on every planet, Maui. They have their own circumstances. This is feeling much better. I think this is felted now. So let's move on up the scarf, or a little shawl. A little shawl for a little woman. If you were to build a planet, what would you have on it? Your planet. What would your planet want to your specifications? What would you be doing? I'm so glad this is not 7 feet long. You should have seen me ironing that sucker last night. in the semi-darkness because I got crappy lighting for my bedroom, except during the day when the curtains are open. But at night, my lamps are deliberately low light and yellow. It's very peaceful. It's sprouting nicely. Ah, you're looking to more of those automated animated things. Did you ever get him that ball that does its own thing? It makes up its own mind, apparently. If it touches something, it bounces off and goes in another direction. Kind of like a Roomba, but a cat toy and small. The problem with these little one-bedroom apartments is you can't build anything for them. And cats in one-bedroom apartments notoriously get bored, especially when they're very young. They have so much energy and nothing to do after they explore that little space. And you'd probably be the kind of cat that would love a wheel, like a hamster wheel, but they do it for cats. You've seen them. They take up a lot of room, though. And how many people have that kind of room in apartments our size? Oh, good. If you seem interested in it, he will develop an interest in it. As long as it's something like that. I can't wait to see. Doc sends me little videos of his cat playing on the iPad. It's hilarious. Adorable. I think we're almost at the point of putting this in water, finishing the shrinking process, or felting. So this is not going to felt itself. together. I want it to be a buttonhole. So I can put a button on the other end or somewhere along this so she can wrap it around herself and keep it there. I'll probably end up going downstairs, wrapping it around her and making a point. It's like, yep, okay, that's where I'm going to put a button just for you. Tiny little person. Huh. That nail. Gotta watch that nail. Excuse me, we're going to have to file that nail. I don't know how that became a problem today. Not even the usual nail. It's a good thing I made my sesame crisp. It makes your nails really strong. Or sesame. I love my sesame. Triple sure because I don't want to have to try and do this again. I think it is ready. This will have to go into a nice warm bath in the sink. So I'll just do this for the moment. It doesn't drip on the way to the kitchen. Stay there for a minute. Thank you. Here it is. I cannot make it any more fragile than that. So I got 2 panels here, you're seeing. Okay. Let's work a little smaller. I need a small break. Now I have this new stuff and I want to incorporate it correctly using the new weird stuff. Because this is definitely a chunkier wool. It's not merino. I say if it's merino, no, it's not merino. It just can't be merino. It does not have that super smooth feeling when you're working on it. It's got a shorter staple. Merino is usually another inch or so long. But we can make some cool stuff nevertheless. So let's see. Yeah, I had an idea. Well, I also wanted to test how strong this new one is. I am torn. All right, do, no, we're gonna do this. And I am going to stick something underneath it to mark the correct side to open up. Or actually, I could just change the colors, that's right. I don't have to add something. But we do need to get more of this weird stuff. Where did I put it? All right, it's not really weird. It's just this was not the best purchase from where else? Timu. It was shipped in a great way, but the quality has left a lot to be desired. It just terribly twisted. Yeah, caught onto itself. Let's see. But I have to say, I really do like these colors. It's really overall not well handled. So let's see what we end up with. Making more of this, so we won't take this too far up. There you are, Ree. Hi. I am so glad some angel delivered that to you. The stamp wasn't canceled. How bizarre is that? So I think whoever was inspired to make sure that you got it. Doc is here introducing his cat to some new distraction on his iPad because he is very hyper today and looking for trouble. We need to make some little changes here. I love the blend, but I want to control it a little bit more. All right, so I got this weird stuff when I got this. This was not exactly what I was expecting. I was actually expecting a ball of wool-like stuff called Angelina. And instead it is what they use in creating multiple fiber things. It is pretty cool, so we're going to try and make it part of this whole thing. The difference with this, well, it's kind of really, in a way, it's the same as Angelina. Angelina is synthetic, so even though you handle it like wool, it's got to be blended with wool to stick together. This is no kind of synthetic, I mean, no kind of natural fiber. The thread that's holding all this stuff in actually started to felt, but I did not have any wool on top of it, as we're going to do now, to make it stick the right way. So it's kind of got to be layered a bit, or it won't work. So we're going to put some really, really sparse fiber down. Put the gold down, and then more wool on top of that. And that should really cement it well. It's got to be sparse enough to let the gold come through, or it'll just be, you know, why bother? Well, I am so glad you finally got it. I was gonna make another one for you today when I heard the news that you didn't get it yet. That should have been there 2 weeks ago. So I'm relieved and grateful that it did make it to you at last. Doesn't it feel neat? Isn't it so soft and smooth? The scarf I was working on is hanging behind me. It is 7 feet 7 inches long. I wasn't measuring when I was making, so its unwieldiness is my own fault. Now, everybody admired it. When you're wearing it, it looks pretty cool. But I can see every flaw in the design, of course. So they asked me, are you happy with it? And actually, I'm not. And the most beautiful part of it is the dye job, which I can't take responsibility for. That credit belongs to the people in New Zealand who really know what they're doing. Okay, that should be plenty. Now, what's going to happen is, because this does not shrink, as the wool does, it's going to make this pucker and pucker and pucker more, and it's going to give us some outrageous texture in the whole thing. So now I'll be cutting a hole in the middle around there. Don't get over enthusiastic. Just stay there. This is going to move all over the place after I start the felting process. Just, It's so fine, it picks up on every pore of your skin. All right, you're going to be difficult. We're just going to let you do your thing. There. Well, the adventure will be in seeing how it turns out. Now it's dangling off the edge because I'm going to be wrapping it on the other side. So I am betting on this particular wool to be closer to a Corriedale than a merino. I kind of pitched it like a merino, but it's way too chunky to be merino. But chunky wool is what you want to create structure in a vessel. You need something not as flexible or light as merino, which merino is perfect against your skin. So soft. I think we're going to take some of these little tidbits and leave them aside. I'll pull you off on this end. Let's get some purple there. Oh, look at that. Yeah, see, it's really chunky. You can feel the difference in your fingers. This is not something you'd want rubbing against your skin, especially your neck. So we will not be making wearables unless it's a hat. But I am really getting into lanterns and vessels because I love light. And I'm a candle burner from the old days. Wherever there's a candle, that's a temple. Now this is the crosshatch method, which builds the safest, stable version of a felted item. And I was invited again to put my stuff up for sale on a website. And I explained that, legal things aside, I mean, I could do it and I would not get in trouble because this woman would protect my identity, but I'm not going to play any of those games. The truth is, right now I'm way more interested in creating clothing, wearable art for myself than I am making money from it. I just want to have enough material to keep creating. You know, it's like when I'm painting, I just need the paints and the canvas and then leave me alone. Now, the face here that you're seeing is the inside, what's going to be the inside of the vessel. So I like that this is going to be pretty on the inside as well as the outside. So anybody have plans for the weekend? For most of us retired folks, the weekend is the same as the week. So unless there's activities that are occurring on a weekend that don't normally happen on a weekday. I know that our management today is really looking forward to the end of the day, because today, for some reason, nothing has been working in their offices. Okay, management has their own bathroom. It's got a code, right? But when you have somebody who also works for it, but the code's not working, they have to unlock it with a regular key, which thank goodness they can do. Today, it's not working. They have to get up and go and help them get in because they need the key. Their printer, the printer's not been working right. It has to be started and stopped, started and stopped. It's like a bug got into the entire system with every mechanical item in the office. And I went in like, wow. So it's more like Friday the 13th instead of just any kind of a Friday. And it was like, shh, shh. We can't do this. We can't get that. It's like, that's really weird. None of these things that are not working are connected. They're all different standalone devices. It's like, wow, interesting energy around here, huh? Oh, I know. That's true. It is so true. No matter what you do, we're always harshest on ourselves. I've gotten better in the years, later years anyway. I heard an interview with Dolly Parton today. I could so relate to her. Well, you're eating, I see that, but what are you cooking? I made my sesame crisp last night, and I think I'm going to be doing zucchini tonight. Like chicken. All this is like little bits of these things, like you can't see them on camera. I can't even really see them with my eyes, but I can feel them when they come up. It takes a while when you've got all these layers to get all the water down into all the fibers, get them rehydrate, get the air out. Matter of fact, Alice, I was thinking of the Darner using it for just small projects. I have this, but they actually make a flat wooden thing to use instead of your own concoctions. This is a bar of soap covered in wool because I was practicing what felting a bar of soap. And if I want to add soap to this works really well. Professional, not perfection. That's it. There's a difference. You have to know when to let go of stuff. And Dolly was talking about her career, writing songs and all that stuff. This was an old interview. But I was like, yeah, that's exactly how I was when I was in the music industry. Not that I got very far in the music industry, but I did pretty well in competitions for songwriting and things like that. But my energy turned out going more toward, well, in the middle of my height, I moved to California and got married. And things kind of changed. Now, I think anybody who manages to stay alive on this planet at all, just the courage to stay alive counts. But we get so critical of ourselves. We are our worst critics. But it's really a shame when that criticism prevents us from communicating because we're afraid of being judged. Like, oh, I haven't accomplished enough in my life and I'm embarrassed. I don't want to talk to those people because, they expected so much more or better. It's like, I have a friend like that. I had a friend, I should say. We both then went to Gorton High School together. And she lived above me, and I got some funny stories from that. But she ended up actually doing some of the same stuff I did. She got into doing singing, but she worked a piano bar, which I thought was wonderful. And she did, what did she say? Cabaret? Not the musical, but her style. And it's like, that is amazing. I had no idea that while I was performing in Connecticut and just over the edge of Massachusetts, she was performing in Boston. It's like, if only we had stayed in touch. Then she ended up getting a gig writing books, but not what you think. She created crossword puzzles for Dell. Dell was a big label. No, the fair's not yet. The first fair's coming up locally. Well, not local, but close enough to get to September 11th. The big one that my friend Maureen and I are taking a bus to with a whole bunch of other wool enthusiasts is in October. That is going to be a very, very, very long day. I'm trying to make sure I'm strong enough for that because I have avoided doing things like this because of my health. But I have always wanted to do this, so I don't want to be stopped by my health. It's going to be like, I will prepare as much as I can, and then I'm going the hell down there. Of course, there is one little thing that occurred to me as an old lady. I hope they have a bathroom on the bus because it's 3 hours plus each way. Isn't she amazing? Charo is one of the most amazing musicians ever. I think she's fabulous. I always loved Charo. She was so honest, like Dolly Parton, you know, like you speak your mind. Is she only in her late 70s? I don't remember because I was playing in the 70s and 80s and early 90s. And then I put all together when I moved to the country. I have to look that up. She's wonderful. I so love hearing her play. You know, people didn't realize, or maybe some people realized, Jig Clark, not like the dance, the country music guy, he was phenomenal. I could listen to him play Malaguena 100 times a day. Just so damn good. Wait a minute. She can play the guitar too well, or she can't play it too well. She was brilliant for years, so I don't know where, at her age, maybe her arthritis is catching up or something, but because osteoarthritis is from the use of your bones. Rheumatoid is a different disease. I have osteo. Thank God it's not rheumatoid, because that does run in my family. She was so cute, being a coochie coochie girl. She got on all the shows, Love Boat, Fantasy Island. She made all the rounds. Laughing. Thanks for the laughing. Oh, she's amazing. Good. I'm glad she's still, if she's still performing, I can't imagine her being no good. But also a lovely human. It matters. To say, I've been waiting for Tim Curry to cross, and he did yesterday. With Dolly, two, you're both 80 and you both decided to leave. You probably have something better waiting. Our own beloved Manal published something today, and she's just a brilliant, reflecting inward kind of a writer. I'm at a loss of words in a moment there. Oh, that's too bad, but that's what women are told it takes. You're not allowed to get old. You want to stay relevant. You want to still make appearances on K's. They want you to be young forever. It's just stupid. We really could retrain society to stop being so dumb. You know who I love and am impressed with? Dick Van Dyke. Dick Van Dyke dances every day. And I believe that has kept him to the point where he could get to be 100 years old, because he exercises every day joyfully. Dancing is not just an exercise, it's a joy, and he's got it. He's got that joie de vivre, the joy of being alive. And I think that's what has kept him going 20 years longer than so many other people. Same thing with Betty White. You know, you tap in on the joy and your gratitude, and you definitely buy time. I hear you. Oh, I wouldn't do it even if I could afford it. I just look at my body as my vessel for this journey. So the fact that I can still use any part of my body is wonderful. I'll tell you, after thyroid surgery, I was less than enchanted to see grandma coming to my face. But I'm trying to make peace with that. It's hard some days because Maui keeps sending me photographs that he creates with my 38-year-old face, my almost 40 face. And it's like, yeah, I was cute back then. And now I go, oy, oy, oh no. That extra sound was the, I need something quick. You'll work. Just keep that hair down there. Now, one of the things I want to learn is way more complicated. It is learning how to make what they call book templates. A book template is literally like a book. You can move it, but each leaf gets felted so that when you're done, you have this thing that opens up with the different parameters, which is really impressive. I was thinking I'd like to learn that technique for the sake of doing unusual purses with some more dynamic angles to it. So I tried doing it once, actually a couple of times, and I really blew it the first time. And the second time I got a fin that was really just to become like a spine to give a chimney-shaped chimney, a lantern, more stability because it was big. There's a woman in Russia, I think she's Russian. She does, you can see her stuff, which by the way, if you want to learn a lot from her, you got to pay for it. She's online here on YouTube. I subscribe to her channel, but I don't remember it because it's not an easy to remember name. But if you look on YouTube for wet felted night lights or lamps, her stuff is wild. It is totally fantasy, but based on undersea creatures. She's really inspired, you know, by octopi and things like that. And she does amazing, amazing lamps. So she was one of the inspirations for doing lamps at all. Because even though I'm not doing her style, I love the way these things light up. You have a picture of me from Trapegan? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, Doc is doing amazing stuff with those. He tries out all the new programs. And wow, send me a photo of the photo. Trap pig, and I was 11 and 12, or 12 and 13. I loved that school. It was so old, but built. It was built with love. It just broke my heart to have that torn down. We were the last graduating class of Trappig Junior High School. They bulldozed this hand-hewn, magnificent building, all hand-carved stairs and banisters. It was built to last, and it did, until they bulldozed it for a road. Civil War times photos. To me, that is just nothing but depressing. I don't want to go back to war times at any time. I don't want the focus on wars in my brain. I've been working very hard to get rid of that. We already have so many Nazis running around in this country. This morning, something terrible happened in Danbury, Connecticut, which has been like what's been happening all over our country with this fascist regime. ICE agents were waiting at a school bus stop, and the moment the kids were on the bus, they busted all the parents. So the kids will be coming home to nobody to rescue them from their school day, their first day at school. So you see, that was not a good thing for me to read first thing in the morning, because I can't even describe the rage that went through my heart for those children. So I don't want to give any kind of attention to anything that's going to increase that kind of vibration. Now this is going to definitely be very textured. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a layer of fiber, because this is the inside of the bottom right here. The outside will have the gold and all the crinkles. Because he's being supported by people he's blackmailing and have bribed. He just took a Jan 6er who was convicted and out there yelling to kill the cops, the Capitol Police, and he just gave him a federal position. Peter Navarro busted, federal position. He's giving the criminals that he's releasing from prison jobs. Who do you think is working for ICE? The lowest scum in the country. People who enjoy hurting others. It's not what it was a few years ago, okay? That is not what it was, and now it is. So, yeah. I don't think we're going to be able to escape it until he just drops dead of natural causes, which some doctors are saying he's got 120 days left. Someone who's worked with dementia and heart failure and all that other stuff saying, yeah, he's on his way. But that's not my timing. Loyalists. Well, here's a fact, a little factoid. Only 13% of the country is strongly behind him now. he is so far underwater. I mean, he's in the red. And so is Hegseth and DeSantos and all of his enablers. But you see, a president is not supposed to have unilateral power. That's why we have three houses, but we now have a corrupt SCOTUS. We have corruption in every department, and he has let everybody loose to destroy us. This is why I've been preaching for the last year. You have to learn how to make food. You have to be able to survive unless, I know, well, if wishes, were coming true, he would have been dead a year ago. Actually, he would have been dead in 2017. But when you have billionaires behind you and kicking back and in return, you're releasing them from regulations meant to make sure that we're safe. So as people are talking about the recalled beef that's considered deadly, and may even be horse meat from Argentina, I recommend you start learning how to make black bean burgers. They're delicious and there's no meat involved. So, complaining doesn't do anything. It just doesn't. And if you're just sitting in your head about how horrible things are, that doesn't do anything either except make you sick. Our anger turns inward, we get depressed, and then we get sick. So we have to watch that. I have always been very depression resistant. I've gone through kind of, I've had my depressions, but not clinical. It's always been connected to actual events that affected me personally. So that's not the same as people who suffer with depression, which is a different kind of a condition. My friend down here, I've got a couple people here that are friends of mine. They suffer from serious depression. Different. I always come out of it. Some days a little harder than others. Admittedly, it's been a little bit more challenging with this administration, but the worst I ever got, I ended up with blood cancer. I know our emotions lead to our illness, which is why we have to pay attention to how we feel so we don't manifest worse. I remember when I got sick. I remember my despair, which existed before I got sick. So it's our job to be joyful on this planet. Nobody gets much more than 100 years at the most because we're always wanting to move forward. And if we live too long, you know what we do? We repeat history. We want to make things stable in a world that's not meant to be stable. And then we stop allowing people to grow. We have to leave the planet and take what we learned and come back. As much as I can't stand the orange man, when it comes down to it, he's no different than the rest of us. He was given a life, he was given an opportunity. And part of the reason he didn't manage getting what he wanted, despite being such a bad businessman, was his belief in himself that he deserves it. That when we look at how people think about themselves, he is an utter malignant narcissist. In that being a narcissist, he believes he's always right. And that's why a lot of people like him, they do get what they want because the universe is not rating your desires. God isn't judging your desires, just saying, okay, that's what you want. That's what you're thinking about. There you go. No questions asked. It's here you go. And if you're asking for bad things, if you feel bad about it, you don't get it. If you feel good about it, it's the vibe. It's always the vibe. This is very slow to help. This is so thick. So the point is, no matter what is going on, no matter where you are on the planet, shit's gonna happen. All right. That is the state of the planet, period. We come here knowing it's a volatile environment. And we take it on where no matter where we live, because we see it more as a challenge to see what can we do with the cards we're dealt. It's not a curse, it's not karma, it is not the result of a past life. We come here with a fresh chance every time. And the idea is to explore your timeline and your body. What can you do where you are? If you are going to be lost in the past, it's going to slow you down. You won't get as much of what you want because you're in the past. You can't create in the past. You can only create the future. But we can't live in the future. We can only live in the moment, right? What happens when you're given a terminal diagnosis? You're given so much time to live, or they believe that that's all you're going to get. After you go through the grieving of it, or attacking it like a problem to be solved, we settle. We talk to that which we call God, universe, whatever. But then we start admiring everything, appreciating the food that we can still taste, or the blue of the sky. You start to live more in the moment when you think you've got less moments coming. Or pardon my lousy English. You tend to pay more attention because you think you have less time. A lot of people have actually recovered from their illnesses because they started suddenly loving every moment. And it changed their energy so much that they actually healed. Ah, okay. Let me dry my hands. We need to do better before I touch the phone, or it'll slip right out of my hands. Soap is slippery. Oh my God. My God, who am I? Oh, there I am with a pixie and those terrible glasses. I'm not showing that to anybody. That's hilarious. 1967, 1968. I hated that hairdo so much. God, I hated that hairdo. But the guy right above me, do you know who that is? That is Roy Matola. I had a wicked bad crush on him. He had no interest, but I had a wicked crush on him. Thank you, Ree. Where's you? I don't see you. There's Mindy. Oh my God. I've got to send this to her. Mindy so wanted to be a doctor. Look at this familiar face. Is that you, Ree? With darker hair? Why don't I always remember you as having blonde hair? Or who is that? Oh my God. All right. Let me go back here so I can see what you said. Oh, no, no, no. No, 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 Doc. No one gets to see me at 12 years old, okay? And now he sent a picture of, oh, a new app playing with colors. Is he gonna do it? Okay, here Doc is trying to show. Let me see if I can get this bigger. Hold on, let me give this some light. This is hilarious. Okay, that's Doc's cat. That's the new app. I think he's looking through the what looks like smoke to see if he can find any fish or birds. It's like, well, where the hell is it? Not interested, huh? Aw. He's going, don't you find that boring? Ah! You got yourself bit. He said, I'm not touching that thing. I don't know what that is. It might bite me back. Look at him looking at you. Explain this, Dad. Ah, that's so cute. Let me see. Hold on a second. Let me download this. Save image. Because Mindy has got to see that. There she is. I've been meaning to see how she's doing because she's in the South now. She's in Tennessee. And she has been getting a shitload of bad weather. She's going to die when she sees that. It makes bird sounds, but he's not caring, huh? That's weird. You cut your picture out. Well, I'm sorry because I would have loved to see it. I remember you had the biggest blue eyes. You were like a China doll. You had the most perfect skin, rosy cheeks, and the longest eyelashes I've ever seen without wearing any makeup at all. This is very slow to felt. I think getting tangled on top, but it is definitely chunky. It doesn't have that nice smooth, I'm smoothing out clay kind of a feeling. You can feel the texture. All right, we're gonna handle this roughly to see if I can get it to do better. I can feel the fluffy. It shouldn't be fluffy yet. Interesting. It's already pulled away from the resist. I can feel it. every which way. Mindy spends a lot of her time taking care of her grandchildren. One of them is autistic and sweet, but can, they can be difficult. Now, see, Alice, if I'd gotten that picture when I was that age, it would have been burned. Definitely. You notice any difference? All right, this is way floofy. It's time. It's time to cut a hole in it. But let's try a little bit more. So rough. That hairdo, by the way, is the reason I grew my hair and would not let anybody near it for the next 30 years. Oh, yeah? Uh-oh. Wow. So beautiful. I told you. You look great. Got a good smile out of you. I won't show unless you want me to. I think all of us, when we're like 11, 12 years old, we are just going through puberty. We're at, I think, the clumsiest and ugliest we will ever be. I hated my hair short. Did not want my hair short. They forced it on me. And so, yeah. Now I'm getting it cut short because it's just a poof ball and I need something that I can handle better. Although I will tell you, the women in this building, I think all of them are going to the same hairdresser because some of them, they come home looking like a little Dutch boy. Have the same cut. It's funny. Okay. Yeah, I already assumed. Because I don't want anybody to see me back then. Yes, some things are best left behind. But I appreciate you showing me. All right. We're now going to see how we did. sure we don't go through the plastic and right through the other side. That is a risk. You gave it a belly button. Bang. Okay, let's see how much it shrunk. Nothing yet. It will when you start to open it up, though, obviously. Looks like it actually grew. We'll have to do something about that. Now, this time the gold should stick because there's wool on both sides of the thread. There we go. Now, as it is, it's going to be treated to the hot water bath and it's going to shrink some more. But the gold thread is definitely secure now. And it ran from this side right around to the bottom. So after it gets a nice hot bath, we will stretch it out. So that'll probably be tomorrow, unless it bothers me later when I come back to the table after dinner, which sometimes does happen. So that will be something I can probably donate to the bingo table on Monday night. It turns out that some of those people really like my stuff, and I am glad to see that. So we'll poof this up tomorrow and finish healing the hole here. So I'm gonna say, yeah, this is more like a Corriedale or a very surprisingly coarse merino. Okay. Before I continue to pull these threads out, I have been here for 2 hours and 10 minutes. Don't you think that's enough? Okay, now we've got two things. We've got this scarf to give a hot water bath, and now we've got this. The sink will be busy tonight. Just keep it wet before, you know. And let's see. So tomorrow, we can actually try this right now because it doesn't need that. You are going to have to be set up to dry. You too. All right, I have this purse. This purse and a problem. This cord is what I got for it. And since this is my amateur bag, I've made every amateur mistake possible after doing several bags without that. It made me feel a little foolish. So I'm going to go get my tape because we're going to have to tape it before I cut it. just knocked another vessel off. All right, so how big do I want to make this? How long? I always make it shorter, but you can't make it longer once you cut it. Wrapping tape, come on. Okay, let's go for it. It's nice and dense. I hope means it will not get nasty upon using it for a while. You know how some cords get frayed and all that. That's why I'm testing this out of mine. You've been here for 10 minutes. I can tell by my stomach that you are lying. Okay, now this is so heavy. I have come up with another way of doing this. So I have to make holes right here. And I need an awl. And I am getting hungry. Now, I'm not upset about being a little hungry, but if I go too hungry, I will get the shakes and get agitated easily. We don't want that. All right, so we're gonna go right there. Oh, see, I love the feel of this bag and the overall look of it. This is not easy to do. All right. Okay, we got a bit of a hole. And now I need a bit of a hook. Oh, I need a bigger hook. Hold on. These are beautiful silk tassels. They were intended for the black and white purse. So can get this out of the way. We're already done with it. Okay. Let's hope for the best. Can we get it all the way through that way? Don't need the hook. It worked. Well, well, well. All right. Sure, it's in the right spot. You don't get to do this more than once. That's a little high. Just a little. To be a good pinch in. Oh, why don't I just go with it? Sure, it's this way. I'll be so pissed at myself if I do this wrong. There we go. Well, let's hope for the best. I'm afraid it's more of an approximation than a perfect measurement. All right, let's see. I think it'll work. Few social chat places like Facebook's been advertising using porn. Take screenshots. Oh my God. It's a good thing they just got sued and lost, and they have to monitor what's going to children. Oh my God. Yes, they do, because they don't want to be caught. That's why I said screenshots, man. The second you see it, grab a screenshot. That's a suit. That is a suit. So showing it to the world. This is what Facebook is showing me. All right, let's see how this works. Da, da, da. It's longer than I want, but you can always make it shorter, like I said. I don't mind wasting a little bit of this. I got a lot of it. All right. I will shorten this up. Just make sure before I cut it. Oh yeah. Okay. Da, da, da. Of course, you can't really see me, can you? There it is. And the matching wallet. And the way I've got this set up, if I drop it, nothing will fall out. But let's take care of this. You like it? Thank you. So let's see. I will use a piece of tape again because I don't know how to seal this kind of stuff up. I've never, like I said, I can't sew to save my life. This is the kind of things you find when you're sewing. All right, I can finally wear this without it. Usually I walk around like this, but now I'll have the safety of this. All right, I feel a little bit better about doing this to the other two bags that I made. If it makes it through this experimental bag, which, like I said, I made every mistake you can make as an amateur after experience. It taught me not to do these things. That's why it's both a pride and an embarrassment. So there we go. I now have a bag. Thanks, Ree. And yeah, it does hold the, well, no, I didn't make it so big it holds the kitchen sink. I used to when I was taking care of other people, because then, okay, like when I was married, the first husband used a wallet. Occasionally, the wallet was in my purse. Second husband did not use a wallet. I had to carry everything in my purse. So, but now it's just me. All I care about is making sure I've got my ID and money. A bottle of water. It has to hold a bottle of water. And not much else. My phone. That's right, phone. So this is interesting. That's a lot of fiber right there, isn't it? So braided. That's a lot. Look at that. Okay, so this is 12 millimeter, I think. I'd like to get something just a hair smaller, like 10 millimeter. Although this is comfortable for carrying weight, you know, I mean, I prefer a flat strap, but I couldn't find what I was looking for, so I went with that. But this is way better than this. This can't stand, I mean, it can handle the weight. It's very strong, but you don't want something that thin cutting into your shoulder with weight on it. So this is not for a heavy bag. I did a drawstring bag with this because it's really good for that. Also, the drawstring bag is much smaller. It will not carry a bottle of water. Okay, yay, we did a couple of good deeds today. And I just have to finish stuff up in the kitchen sink, which I cannot bring you. But tomorrow, we will see how this is coming out. We will go ahead and fix 2 more purses, because I've got the black and white one and then the purple one I made for my friend Maureen. So she is willing to go with this heavier cord because she cannot have anything cut into her skin. She's kind of fragile. So yeah, it's not perfect, but then this bag wasn't. So like I said, this is my learning bag. I'm going to try something out. I'm going to try it on this. But I do love this wool and I want to get more of it. It came in a braid like this scarf stuff. And then I added all of this viscose to, you know, add color and kind of bring it all together. So I would do something like this again. I really do, except I would not use white on the inside. You may not be able to tell if it's all this fuzzy look is from the white migrating up. So I would do this again, but I would use one of the main colors as the inside. So when it migrates, it enhances it rather than make it look like it needs a shave. It still looks nice and it feels really good. It's just, you know, lessons learned. So my friends, thank you for being here today. I'm going to go contemplate dinner, which will include chicken. I'm not sure what else right now. Oh, that's right, zucchini. I said zucchini. I've got some great zucchini. Okay, I know what I'm eating now. Now, I did, in looking at my diet to make my body more comfortable, because my medicine causes great discomfort. I learned that the candy I make with sesame and maple syrup and sesame seeds is excellent, and zucchini's excellent, potatoes less so. So a few things like, don't eat that at night. I love sauteed green onions. I mean, I really love sauteed green onions, and I love sauteed asparagus. It turns out those are bad things for me to eat at night. They said, if you're going to do a green onion, cut the white part off. Well, I like the whole thing, but that's something that's best eaten earlier in the day. So yeah, I'm going to go feed my face. I hope you all enjoy feeding your face. I send many kisses in your general direction. Let me give you some kisses up here. And aloha. I'll see you tomorrow.